This video is all about how you can buy Lego for super cheap and build your collection. I'm on TikTok making almost exclusively Lego videos where I buy it at thrift stores and things like that. And inevitably, somebody asks, where do you get these? And the answer is always different. And I'm always hesitant to give them an answer because I don't want to create an expectation that if you just waltz into a Salvation Army or whatever, you're going to automatically find a big old bucket of Lego. But that being said, there are strategies you can use in order to increase your chances of success. I also want to plug that I think that these strategies can apply to any form of collecting: video games, toys, action figures, Lego. Everything you see behind me and everything you see in the conveniently placed B-roll footage has been through thrift stores, has been through secondhand, has been essentially free because of the following tips I'm about to give. I'm gonna divide this up into 3 sections: where you can find them, when you should buy, and strategies when you are buying. So this first one, I oscillated between yard sales and thrift stores, and I chose thrift stores as number 1 because it is a year-round source. Yard sales, if you live in a cold climate, they only happen certain months out of the year. But a thrift store is year-round, so you can go to Salvation Army, Goodwill, things like that, find them there. I go into a thrift store once a day. I have one that's right by my house. I just stop in there once a day. And then a couple days a week, I go to multiple thrift stores. It's a fun hobby for me. It's also how I make some money, so that's my motivation. If you just build it part of your routine, I guarantee you will find something. Okay, you want to put yourself, it's like any job or any career you would want. You want to put yourself in situations around people who are also doing what you want, and inevitably things will start to happen to you as well. Yard sales is number 2. During the summer months, I go to multiple yard sales over the weekend. Now, there are several apps you can use. You can check Facebook. They advertise yard sales on there. There's a yard sale map. There's an app you can use for that. The Next Door app. You just want to be checking these places and see who's holding a yard sale. And they'll even tell you what they are selling. So if they're like, we have a bunch of Chinaware or a bunch of teapots, like, unless that's what you're into collecting, avoid it. And then, of course, number 3, online platforms like Facebook and, all those other things. So I don't have a lot of luck there. Now, granted, I live in a big city. I live in Chicago. There's a ton of competition for local sales on Facebook and OfferUp and things like that. So I typically just avoid it. But that being said, through TikTok, I've had several people tell me that, in the UK, in Australia, there's like people are just like getting these insane deals for super cheap. So it really all depends on where you live. All right, part 2, when. When do you buy something? We've all been to a Goodwill. We've all looked at how they are insanely overpriced on ridiculous things. Even now, they aren't even keeping a lot of stuff in their store. They're shipping it off to their warehouse where they try to sell it online for even more. All that aside, I've walked into a Goodwill and I've seen like a big old bucket of Lego, which looks very, very attractive. And they've slapped like $150 price tag on it. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is just bricks. There's not even any specialty pieces or minifigures in here. This is obscene. So you gotta like take a closer look and don't drop money just because it looks like it could be something. You gotta really dig in there and see if it's gonna be worth your time and money. You gotta think about what you personally want. What is it you are personally after? If I saw that $100 bin of Lego and there were a ton of minifigures in there, initially I'd be very excited. But what if it's just a bunch of, I don't know, Lego City? I don't collect Lego City. Maybe you do. Maybe that'd be attractive for you. But I really don't care about Lego City, to be honest. And there's not a lot of resale value in Lego City, at least in my experience. Now, if it's full of Lego Star Wars, like if I'm looking around in the box and I see a Cad Bane or an Ahsoka Tano or something insane like that, I might drop $100 on that thing. Strategies. Let's talk strategies. This is the good stuff. I always say be nice and clean up after yourself, okay? Those thrift stores I go into every day, that Salvation Army, if I pick something up and I'm put it in my cart and I walk around and I'm like, actually, I don't want this. I always take it back to exactly where I found it or where I know it's supposed to go, and I put it away. The employees there will see you do that and they will appreciate you so much, okay? They will go out of their way to start helping you. I've got a couple guys in a couple different thrift stores. The employees there, they know that I'm after Lego, I'm after certain types of action figures, and they'll be like, hey, we just got something in, let me go get it for you. It is the best feeling in the world to know that I have made their lives easier, and in turn, they're going to try to make my life easier. If you find a board game in the clothes section, just take it back to the board game section. They will see you do it, and they will appreciate it. While you're out at these thrift stores, while you're out at these yard sales, you're going to start to see a lot of familiar faces. You're going to see other resellers hanging out and finding stuff. Talk to these people. Get on their good side. Find out what it is they like to sell. There's one thrift store around here. A guy is in there every day for multiple hours a day. He just kind of waits around for the carts to come out. That's how he makes a lot of his money. He does resell. He knows I am into toys and action figures and Lego. In fact, I know I am saved in his phone as Travis, Mr. Toys R Us. He showed it to me. I know this. He will text me when stuff is out. He will hold stuff for me if he knows I'm coming in that day. And when he texts me, he'll be like, hey, this just got put out. He'll send me a picture and say, do you want this? And I can be like, yes, no. And then here's the kicker. If you do find somebody to do that for you, give them a little kickback. For instance, this particular guy, he bought a bin of Lego for like 20 bucks. And he was like, I don't want to go through all the trouble of doing this. Let me call Travis. And then what I did is I gave him $30, like a finder's fee, just for holding on to it for me. And I ended up finding some really good minifigures in there. Found some near complete sets. It was really neat. And last, I've already hinted at this before, resale value. You're going to find a lot of stuff. In fact, the longer you do this, the more you're going to realize that there is just so much freaking stuff in the world. Okay, again, I live in a big city. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of stuff. Maybe it's not like this in your small town, but there's so much freaking stuff in the world. And there's other people looking for that stuff. Just because you don't want it doesn't mean somebody else won't want it. So I was talking about the Lego City stuff earlier. If I found a big old bin of Lego that's full of Star Wars characters and knights and Lego City and all this other stuff, I'm going to keep the Lego Star Wars because that's what I like. And I do love the knights, but that's not what I'm after right now. Someday I would like to collect them, but it's not what I'm after right now. So what I do is I keep the Lego Star Wars, start selling off the knights on, I don't have a Bricklink account. I know I should. I just do it on eBay. You can just do it on eBay. You don't have to get fancy. And what happens is, let's say I buy a bin for $50. There's a chunk of Lego Star Wars in there, and there's a couple Lord of the Rings sets. I would love to collect Lord of the Rings, but I don't have the room, the space, or the money for it right now. So I post those for sale. And, I make 100, 150 bucks. Essentially, I got my Star Wars characters for free. How sweet is that? Let's keep talking about resale. Watch people like Retro Rick, Harry Tornado, Part-Time Pickers. Start watching what they pick up for resale value. If I walk up on a yard sale and they have a bin of Lego or a box of action figures that I can grab for 20 bucks, and then they have a couple hats or a couple video games that I know I don't want to keep, but they're selling for super cheap, I grab them, I sell them on eBay, and I've essentially just got my Lego for free. You can educate yourself on things outside of your particular niche to sell off, get it to people who really want it, so you can keep the things that you really want. I hope that was helpful. I hope this was interesting. I know this was kind of just a talking head video, but you have tools, you have resources, you now know where to look. You have, hopefully I gave you some new ideas, and I wish you the best of luck. Oh, and follow me on TikTok. Thanks.